Caitlin Clark's golf debut just made me so upset with the WNBA.
A startling conclusion recently confronted the WNBA. They may have committed the greatest error in the history of the league. Really, what were they hoping to gain from observing Caitlin Clark? That perhaps they would benefit from concealing her extraordinary talent. Did they really think they could win by underplaying a generational phenomenon like Clark?
So the LPGA event is expanding its Pro-Am coverage around Caitlin Clark's participation. Golf Channel's Golf Today will begin 90 minutes early on Wednesday and include live look-ins. It has also been said that you will get to see Caitlin Clark's warm-up.
Leagues like the LPGA have eagle eyes for talent, and they know exactly how to capitalize on a superstar when they see one. While the WNBA buried its head in the sand, the LPGA swooped in and put on a showcasing Clark and triggering a social media storm that made everyone sit up and take notice. It's almost laughable how badly the WNBA fumbled here, and now they're left to soak in the regret of an epic marketing disaster. Debuted, and it is no fault of hers that I got upset. It is the fault of the WNBA because the LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct in literally one day. Caitlin Clark's golf debut was an absolute jaw-dropping, history-making event that had the entire sports world clutching their pearls in disbelief. I mean, here she is, a basketball superstar, casually stepping onto a golf course and causing more chaos than a Black Friday sale at Best Buy. She swung an entire fan base into an all-out frenzy. Without that, there was so much buzz online. She was trending on Twitter, all of the things, and the LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event. Fans were losing their minds, lighting up social media, flooding the LPGA with requests to put the event on television. They were practically breaking down the LPGA's door to watch Clark in action. Emails flooded in, tweets went nuclear, and the LPGA, smartly recognizing a gold mine when they saw one, buckled under the pressure and televised the event. Originally, it wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization and saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? And if you thought that was impressive, the LPGA went full genius mode. They paired Caitlin Clark with Nelly Korda, the world's top golfer. Yeah, not just any golfer, the best of the best. It was the kind of marketing move that makes you wonder if the LPGA has a crystal ball. Together, Clark and Korda were a social media dream team, generating more buzz than a swarm of bees. So there are photos of Caitlin and Nelly literally everywhere. And the LPGA was so smart in doing this because they knew that there would be so many eyeballs on Caitlin. Thousands of tweets, endless Instagram stories, and constant updates dominated every social feed, making Clark the talk of the town. The LPGA's social media game was on fire, and they knew exactly what they were doing. It felt like every other post was a picture or video of Caitlin Clark. And guess what? Nobody was complaining. Everyone was glued to their screens. And it was a major win for both Clark and the LPGA. So if they put their number one golfer, who is currently leading the sport and pushing the sport ahead, if they put her next to Caitlin for the entire event, that's just great. It's great for Nelly, and it's great for everyone else. Even pro golfers couldn't hide their admiration. Brittany Lincecum, a golf legend herself, was fangirling so hard she brought a basketball to the event for Caitlin to sign. She was gushing over Clark like a teenager at a boy band concert. And it was hilarious yet heartwarming to watch. The LPGA milked every second of the spectacle for what it was worth, and it worked flawlessly. Women's golf got a massive boost. Nelly Korda got to bask in the spotlight. And Clark's influence transcended basketball. Everybody won. She said what she has done for women's sports and basketball, and to have her at our golf tournament, I mean, I'm like in awe. I've got a basketball and hoping she signs it for my girls. But how cool for her to come out and support us this week and only help grow women's golf. Now let's talk about the WNBA, or should I say the talking definition of missed opportunities. Here you have Caitlin Clark, an absolute once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon who could lift the WNBA to new heights. And what does the league do? Absolutely nothing. Not a single tweet, not even a lazy Instagram post, nothing. It was like Clark vanished into thin air in their eyes. This wasn't just a minor slip-up. This was a public relations disaster of epic proportions. The WNBA had a golden opportunity to ride the wave of Clark's golf hype and pull in fans who might never have looked twice at women's basketball. And they just sat there twiddling their thumbs, acting like Clark's golf debut was some unremarkable everyday occurrence. Now, from this event, I have only seen and heard of positive things. I didn't hear one thing about how her fans are toxic. I didn't hear one thing about there being too much spotlight on Caitlin Clark, and it should have maybe been on the professional golfers that are there. We didn't hear any of that. And those are the types of things that we have been hearing for the entirety of the WNBA season. I mean, for crying out loud, even the NBA would hype up a player if they were spotted eating a sandwich courtside. The NFL would have a full-blown documentary if one of their stars decided to run a charity bowling event. But the WNBA, nah, they'd rather pretend Caitlin Clark didn't just shake up the entire sports world. Fans were practically begging for any acknowledgement. But nope, silence, deafening rage, inducing silence. And the worst part, it wasn't surprising. The WNBA has a long, miserable track record of playing it safe. And this was just another example of their utter incompetence. The fact that the WNBA posted nothing, posted zero about Caitlin Clark golfing in this Pro-Am event. People were furious, and they had every right to be. It was a slap in the face to every fan who's been hoping the WNBA would finally wake up and do something right for once. The Caitlin Clark effect is real. And instead of riding that momentum, the WNBA buried their heads in the sand. Meanwhile, the LPGA showed the entire world what's possible when you actually support your athletes. The WNBA deserves to be roasted to a crisp for their embarrassing, pitiful failure to capitalize on Caitlin Clark's undeniable star power. If you look at the LPGA Twitter account, it is filled with Caitlin Clark things, photos of her, a whole video of the fans cheering her, signing things, taking photos of players hanging out with Caitlin, and obviously they're showing their golfers as well. Let's not pretend the WNBA hasn't been warned. Fans have been pleading for more Caitlin Clark content, and this event proved they were right to demand it. Clark is more than a popular player. She's a magnet for attention. She trends, she captivates, and she has the power to draw in fans from outside the basketball bubble. And what did the WNBA do during this explosion of popularity? Not a single thing, zero, nada. It's like they were actively trying to prove they have no idea how to market their own sport. The LPGA gave Clark the spotlight she deserved, and in doing so, exposed the WNBA's embarrassing refusal to adapt. And this was the perfect opportunity for the WNBA to do. Like, have you seen it when an NBA player or a football player goes to an NBA game or goes to wherever and they'll be in the comments or they'll just say something like something cute? This was the perfect time for the WNBA to also be posting about this. And while the WNBA has spent an eternity worrying about giving Clark too much attention, as if that's even possible, the LPGA faced absolutely no backlash for embracing her. None. There wasn't a single whisper of complaint about favoritism or toxic fandoms. Instead, there was celebration, pure, unfiltered excitement. The LPGA knew what they were doing. They didn't hesitate to ride the wave of Clark's stardom, and it paid off in spades. Fans loved it, players loved it, and women's sports got a massive, much-needed boost. Meanwhile, the WNBA sat in the corner, paralyzed by fear, worried about the impact of giving Clark a platform she more than deserves. The LPGA showed everyone what winning looks like, and the WNBA's inaction only made them look even more clueless. And it just goes to show that all of us who have been speaking out about this and saying, like, it doesn't seem like you guys are giving Caitlin, you know, the kind of props that she deserves or bringing all these eyeballs and, you know, the Caitlin Clark effect that we talk about, viewership, money, all of those things. All the people who are shouting this for the entire WNBA season, this is an instance where we are proved correct. The wider implications are painfully obvious. The LPGA got a flood of new fans, glowing media coverage, and massive engagement. Meanwhile, the WNBA is just sitting on potential viewership and sponsorship deals worth millions. Millions. It's a financial disaster. Every time they ignore Caitlin Clark, they might as well be throwing money into a bonfire. And for a league that's desperate for every penny, you'd think they'd understand that. This isn't just a marketing screw-up, it's financial sabotage. By failing to capitalize on Clark, they're actively harming their own future. And it's almost impressive how badly they're messing it up. All of these places, every media outlet is covering this, and you don't say anything. Now let's talk about the future. Paige Buchers and Juju Watkins are the next big things. And if the WNBA keeps playing it safe, they're going to fumble those opportunities too. Paige has over 1 million Instagram followers, for crying out loud, and Juju is becoming a social media powerhouse. These aren't just basketball players, they're influencers, brand builders, and future legends. If the WNBA doesn't learn from its mistakes, these stars will bolt the second a better opportunity comes knocking. The warning signs are there. The WNBA is at risk of alienating its future stars before they even get a chance to shine. and that would be nothing short of catastrophic. They put their best golfer in the tour league, whatever it's called. They put her with Caitlin because they knew that she would get more eyeballs doing that. They propped up all of their golfers in one event. And you would be crazy to think that they're not going to have another event and invite Caitlin to it. They're going to invite Caitlin to as many events as they possibly can. These players are more than athletes. They're icons who can transform women's basketball into a global sensation. But the WNBA is so stuck in its old ways that it's painful to watch. Experts keep saying that star power is the key to a league's growth. Yet here we are watching the WNBA make every wrong move possible. Caitlin Clark, Paige Buchers, Juju Watkins, they should be front and center everywhere all the time. But instead, the WNBA is fumbling harder than ever, practically writing a guide on how not to market a sports league. We were correct. The fans that were saying that the WNBA seems to be trying to quiet the noise of Caitlin Clark, not letting her shine to her full ability, and not in turn, not helping your own players in the league, we were right. And this event proved it because the LPGA did literally everything correct. The LPGA should have been a wake-up call. Instead, the WNBA hits news like it's allergic to success. Caitlin Clark is the future, and the WNBA keeps sabotaging itself one missed opportunity at a time. Want to grow the sport, want to inspire the next generation? Then stop being your own worst enemy. The WNBA is on a path of self-destruction, and it's painfully obvious to everyone but them.